You like, share, subscribe. You don't want to miss up and coming interviews. Let's get it. What's good, people? What's good? Welcome to the second step, second level, second floor, the jump off. Hey, listen, I gotta say thank you to everyone who gave me some positive feedbacks. The emails, the text messages, they were just, encouraging, and I just gotta say this is second episode, so things I predict are going to get better, they're going to get bigger. I just feel it's my duty to get this information out, and as an hobby, I'm pretty sure this is going to morph into something bigger once it catches on and once the questions start pouring in. But at the end of the day, again, I just really want to be an outlet. I want business and bid to be the outlet for small businesses to get the information they need to reach that 5-year mark. And I gotta say, so far so good. My second interview is gonna be with Mr. Tom Burnett with, Human Interest. Now, this company offers 401k programs for small businesses, and I gotta say, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that small businesses can offer 401k programs to their employees, their contractors? Well, really employees, you have to be a W-2 employee, but you can offer a 401k program to yourself as a small business person. You can be a sole proprietor and still contribute to a 401k program. Now, we're going to be going over so many different retirement programs. And as a small business person, retirement is a big issue. I'm 43 years old and I started late when it comes to preparing for retirement. You're really supposed to start preparing for retirement early 20s. As soon as you hit 20, 18, 19, 20, um, and getting ready for retirement. And I just think in 20 years, I'm gonna be 63 and I don't want to work. So there are people in my family who I use as an example where I don't want to live 73, 74, 75 years old and I have to work. And if I don't work, then I'm homeless or I can't support myself, or I can't take the trip, or I can't just live the lifestyle that I want to live. So, this is an important topic for small business people who are looking to put away a little nest egg. You understand? And there are other alternatives. This is just one out of many that I'm going to be reviewing. Now, as I said before, I'm going to be shouting out two businesses per location. I'm just going to stick to Detroit right now because Detroit is rocking with me. You understand? And Detroit has grown on me. There's so much opportunity here, whether you're talking about real estate, whether whether it's small business, cannabis. The cannabis industry is on lock right now when it comes to Detroit. And I'm going to reiterate this because one of the most impressive things about Detroit is their soil. No matter where you are in the whole state of Michigan, actually, no matter where you are in the whole state of Michigan, and I've come to learn about this, you can grow whatever you want to grow because the land is so fertile, the soil. How you have Georgia clay, that red, dark clay, even in the Carolinas. And in Florida, you might have the sand. Well, in Michigan, and yes, Michigan is a peninsula surrounded by three bodies of water. Go figure. But no matter where you are in the whole state of Michigan, you can grow. The land is that dark, dark black soil. So if you're not hip to game, come up to Michigan, scout it out because it's growing. It's on a comeback. And I gotta say, Michigan, Detroit in particular, I have a soft spot for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to stay focused. I want to keep the spotlight on Michigan, Detroit, and its businesses. So the first business I want to congratulate Crack and Sizzle. It's celebrating its grand opening over on the east side. The address is 2664 East Jefferson. Again, these are small businesses that need our help, that need our support. So I was looking over the menu and I gotta say, I'm impressed. I can't wait to try you guys out. Anywhere from salmon tacos to burgers, fries, and more. I think this is a spot that deserves our attention and our feedback. So go check that place out. The second one is Nacho Grill. I've heard of this spot. I didn't try you guys out yet, but I've heard so many good things about it. I've read the reviews, saw your little clip, and I gotta say, I'm heading to Ferndale. I'm heading to Ferndale, and if you like food trucks, if you like tacos, I think that this can be the spot. I gotta say, their smoked brisket is to die for. That's what I've heard. I don't know. But again, these are small businesses that deserve an opportunity. They have vegan and vegetarian options. It's located in the Ferndale food parking lot. It's up there in Ferndale, so go check these places out. So getting back to the 401k programs, Mr. Tom Burnett has spent some time with me. We had a blast. We had a blast. The feedback and the information is worth it. All this information that Business and Bid is giving you is specifically for you guys to grow, facilitate growth, and to network with one another, ask questions, rub elbows, meet and greet. Like Crack and Sizzle is celebrating their grand opening. I don't know much about them at all, but at the end of the day, they took the first step, and the first step is the most important step. So if you're interested in getting into small business, don't be scared. Take the first step. Mistakes are going to be made. But at the end of the day, if you got a good supporting network, if you got the cojones to reach out and not be scared to fail, it's like what Denzel said during that speech: fail often, fail forward, but get your ass up. At the end of the day, you're not going to get rich working for someone else. Now, I understand, I'm going to reiterate this every episode because you have individuals who have a great job, right? They love what they do. They're great at what they do, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know if they necessarily have the freedom. But again, I don't know. I just know that every day you're working on someone else's dream, you're taking away from yours, right? Now, I have nothing against people who are working 9 to 5, 10 to 10, 12 to 12. I have nothing against that, especially if you're doing what you have to do as a man or as a woman to provide for yourself and your family. No one can take anything away from you, right? If you're not the individual to take those risks and you're in for stability, then do what you do. But at the end of the day, this podcast is going to do what it can to support and uplift small businesses to create a situation where you can create generational wealth. Okay. And that's going to be an episode. So again, this 401k program that is offered for small businesses, it's just an outlet. It's just a way for you to tuck that little nugget away, right? For your retirement. You don't want to be 73, 74, 75, 80 years old and you have to work, or you're dependent on someone else to take care of you. You don't want to be a burden. Okay. You want to create something, a legacy for your future. Okay. And your future, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, right? So this is what Business and Bid is here to do. So again, thank you all for the love. I hope you enjoy this episode. There's a plethora of information. Again, if you have any questions, get at me, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. Let's get it, yo. Let's build this network that we need to create wealth in our own community, whether it's Detroit or not. So let's get it. See y'all soon. All right. All right. Well, thank you for the interview. Thank you for your time. For those who do not know you, please introduce yourself, the company you represent, and what you do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Greg, for having me on Business and Bid. I'm happy to join the podcast. My name is Tom Barnett. I'm an account executive with a company called Human Interest. We are a 401k provider specifically for small and medium sized business owners. I work in Pittsburgh, PA. I am completely remote for my job, but I cover a team that is in the Great Lakes region. So the Great Lakes for Human Interest is Michigan, Ohio, Western New York, Western Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
You're like the Rust Belt, so to speak, right?
Almost, yes.
So when it comes to human interest, you mentioned 401k, and I'm pretty sure that is your specialty. Now, for me, I never thought that there was a 401k program for small business. When you think 401k, you automatically think employment, W-2, full-time job, things like that. So for the people out there that don't know, explain explain your product. Explain the 401 product for small businesses. Is it the same as if you were a W-2 employee, or are there differences?
A lot of times, business owners do not even have themselves on payroll. That doesn't preclude them from being able to contribute to a 401k for themselves. If they're an owner only business, they can still contribute to a 401k. The federal government has taken great strides to enhance that benefit and make it a lot more affordable for folks. Biden just signed off on what is called Secure Act 2.0 right before the new year. It had already passed Congress and it was awaiting his signature. He signed off on it. It makes it free essentially to small business owners for the first 3 years that they're offering a plan. So they are getting full federal tax credits come tax time for all of the monthly fees that we assess for our administrative charges all throughout the year. So it's a great opportunity for that small and medium sized business owner to take advantage of a 401k benefit.
Now, what do you mean by free? Is there some type of reimbursement, or it's literally free?
When I say free, we are going to charge a business owner monthly fees for the administration of our services.
Okay.
Come tax time, they are able to recoup via a full federal tax credit 100% of what we've billed them over the last, let's say, 10 or 12 months, depending on when they start their plan.
Okay, so let me make sure that I heard you correctly.
Yes,
So, would this be considered a premium, or just a fee to conduct business?
it's a fee to conduct business. So
Oh,
we have administrative functions that we have to perform for every business owner and for every 401k plan. We have to ensure that it's complete, that it's correct, that it's accurate, and it's compliant. We do all of that on the back end for every business owner that comes on board with Human Interest and sets up a 401k plan. They're giving themselves and their employees the opportunity to save for retirement through payroll contributions. The tax credit is a federal tax credit, and that's the big enhancement. There was a Secure Act 1.0, and that was in effect for a few years. Secure Act 2.0 provides an enhanced tax credit for the business owner. So that's the biggest step that we've seen taken by the federal government because they understand for Greg, for your parents, for my parents, when they retired, maybe they had access to a pension. Pensions are a thing of the past. They don't really exist any longer. The Social Security system is broken. There's actually a shortage in the Social Security fund right now as it stands. So when you and I go to retire, we likely are not going to see nearly the amount of money that our parents saw, if we see any at all. So they know that small businesses are the driving factor across the US in order to provide a retirement solution for themselves and their employees.
wow. Very very on point, and I think that goes missed. I think that the luxuries of Social Security that our parents fought hard for, contributed to, is dwindling. And although you can argue politics on the sovereignty of Social Security, you still have to put away for your own future. I
Absolutely.
am I am not one to rely on the government and say, "Hey, listen, take care of me. I don't want to work anymore." And I use my mother as the biggest motivator. She receives Social Security, but that's not enough,
No,
right? You're 70 something years old. You don't want to work. You don't want to be put in a situation where you're forced to work until your deathbed. So a 401k is a great first step. It's a great one of many solutions that you can take to secure your future. Now,
absolutely.
what I want to get back to is the reimbursement because that's juicy. That's juicy. That's juicy.
It's very juicy.
Juicy. You said for the first 3 years. Okay. Now explain what would be reimbursed because there is a administration fee,
Correct.
which is to your company for the paperwork and the footwork that you guys contribute to. What gets reimbursed if I'm making sense?
So what we do is we charge a monthly fee. Let's just take an example. It's $150 a month to have an administered plan through human interest, and then it's $6 per employee. So if you have 3 employees, that would be $18 a month on top of the 150. So that'd be 168. If it's an owner only plan, and you are the only employee per se for the company, then it would be $156 a month. Whatever you're paying us each and every month, come tax time, you're able to recoup via a tax credit from the federal government. It's called the Secure Act tax credit, 100% of what we've billed you throughout that time period.
And this is the combination between the administration fee and the contribution per employee.
Not the contribution, it is just simply what we charge you. So when an employee contributes, if an employer offers a match, that's something that is an option for every single business owner. Do they want to offer a match to their employees? That is simply an option that a business owner has. You will see a lot higher contribution rate in every business when an employer does offer some type of match. It's a reward from the business owner, but it's often used as a recruitment or retention tool for that company. But there's also, with Secure Act 2.0, some additional tax credits that are available for the business owner if they do offer a match. They are reimbursed 100% of the match that they provide for any employee that's earning less than $100,000 a year.
Hmm.
And that is for the first 2 years. Then in year three, they're provided a 75% tax credit on whatever they've matched to that employee. And it's a graded schedule. It goes on year two, year three, year four, year five.
Huh. Wow. I would have never thought that as a small business, we can conduct ourselves as larger corporations, even with me as an owner operator, right? I might
Right.
not have W-2 employees under me. I work with contractors. So I have contractors under me, right? Now, we did have a conversation last week about contributions and the difference between contractors and W-2 employees who cannot contribute.
Right.
And I believe you made it clear that they have to be W-2.
That is correct. That is correct.
So which brings me to this. I'm not a sole proprietor, I'm an LLC. I have a marble stone business that I restore marble up here in Detroit.
Mhm.
And for the most part, it's just me. Okay. If it's small enough, I'll do it. If I need help, I have two people who work under me and I can throw them some work. I'm asking this because you mentioned matching. And you
Yes.
brought this up, and I think that this is a really good selling point, if you would. And correct me if I'm wrong. I enroll into a 401k program through you, Human Interest. And with that match program and contribution, make that clear to me again, because I was a little hazy because it was just so good that I can contribute as an employee because I'm paying myself salary through my own LLC. So I can contribute to a 401k, and at the same time my business can contribute as well. So not only am I contributing, and correct me if I'm wrong, not only am I contributing to my retirement, my company in turn is contributing to my retirement. Please explain that, if and correct me if I missed any points.
No, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Whenever you set up a 401k plan, you, as the owner of the business or as a W-2 employee, you decide, yes, I want to contribute to this 401k, and you elect a certain percentage of your pay that will go towards your retirement every payroll period, whether that's 2%, whether it's 6%, whether it's 10%. Then, if your company matches a certain percentage of your contribution, whether it's 3%, whether it's 4%, then it's a tax advantage to the business when the company pays for that match as well. So that's a tax write off, which is different than the credits that the
Right,
business receives for our administrative charges.
right, right. And for those who are listening, write this down. Take this information to your tax prep. Your tax prep is going to know more specifics on tax code and where you should populate the information and how the tax code will advantage you in that regard. Um, this is some great information. How long have you guys been in business?
Human Interest was started in 2015 as a technology startup out in the Silicon Valley. We're headquartered in San Francisco. The two founders of Human Interest had founded another tech company. And when they reached about the 90 employee mark, they decided to look at a 401k benefit for their employees. And they found it to be very cost prohibitive and very cumbersome to, to allow their employees to gain access to and for them to set up. So they paused everything. They did a lot of research, talked to a lot of people, and they felt like the small and medium sized business segment had often been overlooked by the traditional 401k providers out there. So they pivoted and they started Human Interest. So we were a startup company for about 3 or 4 years. Around 2018, 2019, we transitioned and we grew from a startup company to a growth company. And we've been growing by leaps and bounds ever since. We really founded our backbone on a couple of different things. Number one would be payroll integration. When it comes to offering a 401k plan, a lot of times there are manual processes on the back end that a business owner or someone in their company has to do on a per pay basis to ensure that the contributions get sent to the 401k provider. With Human Interest, we have more than 300 payroll providers that we integrate with on the back end. So that means that the 401k simply becomes a function of payroll at that point in time.
Function of payroll. Um,
Correct.
speaking of payroll, okay, directly related to the 401k,
Mm-hmm.
is it still, and I would imagine it is, linked to the market, and is it as volatile?
It can be. Every 401k is designed to be a safer investment than an individual stock or an individual bond. We have mutual funds. So mutual funds are a mix of stocks and or bonds. Every mutual fund invests in hundreds of different companies. So inherently, mutual funds are a safer investment option than an individual stock or an individual bond. But we have stock funds, we have international stock funds, we have bond funds, real estate funds. We also have an FDIC insured deposit account. So that is designed for the employee who is very risk averse and they say, I would never invest in a 401k plan because I don't want to risk losing any of my money. That's okay. We have an option where they can park it into a glorified savings account that pays a very small rate of interest, but they're guaranteed through the FDIC insurance, they're not going to lose any money in their 401k plan.
Is there the same rate of growth when it comes to
No,
percentage?
no, no. Like I said, it's a glorified savings account. So they're not going to see the gains that other employees would necessarily if they took more risk. But we also, through our enrollment process, we provide education and guidance. We ask people a series of questions and we will provide them with a recommendation. Each employee has complete autonomy to determine how risky they want to be. They can take our advice, they can abandon our advice if they want, and they can choose their own investment options if they like.
And I'm pretty sure there's an array of them.
Correct.
401ks, IRAs, right? Roth IRAs. What's the difference for the people who don't know between, the Roth IRA, a regular IRA, and a 401k? Can you explain that?
Sure. An IRA is an individual retirement account. That's what the acronym stands for. So somebody can set up an IRA through their bank, through their financial advisor. A 401k is a company sponsored benefit. So they have access to that through their employer. The limits that they can put in as far as how much every year they can contribute are much greater in a 401k than what they are in an IRA. You mentioned the term Roth. In our 401ks, we give people the ability to contribute in a traditional or pre tax manner. We also give them the ability to contribute in a Roth manner, or they can even do a mix of the two if they wish. For those people that don't know, a traditional contribution is where I contribute through my pay and it is taken out of my pay before taxes, before federal taxes are calculated. If I make a Roth contribution, I'm paying the taxes today, but at the end of my work cycle, whenever I go to retire and I go to take a distribution on my money, I'm going to owe taxes in the traditional or pre tax manner. I am not going to owe any taxes on any of my contributions, nor any of the earnings or the growth of my money over time in the Roth manner. So that is the distinct difference between the two.
So one is pre-taxed and one is post-taxed.
That is correct.
And the IRA is pre-taxed, not post-tax.
An IRA can be either Roth or
Oh,
pre-tax.
that's what I mean. I'm so sorry. The Roth is pre-tax, not post-tax.
No, the Roth is actually post-tax.
So
There's
if I contribute into a Roth IRA, I'm not paying taxes up front. But when I withdraw, then I am paying taxes, correct?
It's actually the opposite. When you
Oh,
contribute to a Roth, you
okay.
pay the taxes today. So you feel it more in your paycheck every time that you make a contribution because you're seeing more taxes taken out today. When you go to withdraw that money in retirement, you don't owe any taxes in the Roth atmosphere. You don't owe any taxes on the contributions you've made over the last, let's say, 20 years. You also don't owe any taxes on any of the earnings or the growth that your retirement benefit has had over the years.
Wow. So in my way of thinking, because I did do mortgages for a long time and I understand the workings of interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tax. I'm not a tax expert, but I'm familiar with some tax jargon. What would be the benefit of not paying taxes on my contributions today, but paying taxes in about 20, 30 years? I mean, it seems like interest rates are going to do nothing but go up. I mean, I can't tell the future or anything, but I'm pretty sure that people would be more attractive to paying at the tax rate now than they would be in 20 years? Or am I missing something?
You're not missing anything. There are a couple different ways of thinking about it. Traditionally, older employees who are closer to retirement age, they'll make a pre-tax contribution because they're going to be accessing their money a lot sooner than maybe you or I will. But we haven't seen tax rates go down; they've only gone up. And I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a financial advisor either. But I contribute personally to a Roth 401k. I contribute to the human interest 401k, and we have access to the same funds that all of our clients have access to as well. So, personally, I like the Roth option because I feel like when I go to retire, I don't think the tax rates are going to be any lower than they are today. I might be in a lower tax bracket if I'm not making as much in retirement, but it's six one way, half dozen another. A lot of people have personal beliefs about the Roth being more advantageous or the pre-tax contribution being more advantageous.
Hmm. But with that said, you can actually treat your human interest um, account as a Roth if you choose to go that route, because you have products that simulate that type of contribution when it's taxed going in, but not taxed coming out.
That is correct. That's exactly correct.
So you have a whole array of products just specifically for retirement, and you could take advantage of combinations. So you can do a little here Roth, you can do a little here regular, you could do a little here 401k. You can distribute your money how you desire.
Correct. We give people complete autonomy to determine whether they want to make a pre-tax or a post-tax contribution. So, for example, if I wanted to contribute 6% of my pay to my 401k, I can do all 6% pre-tax. I can do all 6% Roth, which would be post-tax, or I can split them up. I could do 3% pre-tax and I can do 3% Roth.
Huh.
So everybody has the control over how they invest their money.
So I know you're not a tax expert, but let me ask you, those taxes that you pay on the money going in, how does is there any reimbursement, or I guess my question is, what are the benefits of paying the taxes now? Do you get any type of kickback from taxes?
You don't get any kickback from taxes. The advantage would be 20 years from now, if you have a 20-year horizon before you retire, then when you start withdrawing your money 20 years from today, you're not owing any taxes on your contributions nor
Mm.
any of the growth or the earnings that your fund has had over time.
Therefore, it wouldn't be considered as income. Or would it be considered as income, just not taxable income?
It's not taxable income, it is income.
Got you, got you. Thank you for that clarity. Um, Dealing in the world of small business, and I asked my last guest this, Miss Ebony Robinson. Um, because you come across so many applications, because you deal with so many small businesses, and like you said, the rate of growth in your industry is growing. What do you wish that you saw more of in the small business community when it comes to preparing for their retirements? And how early should you start?
The earlier, the better. We see young people who contribute starting at age, 21, let's say. If they save for 10 years and then stop contributing and then start contributing 10 years later, they'll end up with more money in the end than somebody who starts at age 30 and contributes all the way through.
Mm.
Um, that's what all the statistics show.
Why is
And it's the compound rate of interest. It's the growth of money over time. The earlier you start, the better off you are when it comes to retirement age. I wish that I saw more people looking at the long term horizon rather than looking at today and tomorrow. They look at the short term a lot of times and they feel like it's something that they don't want to tackle or they can't afford, and they really don't know what the inner workings of the 401k offering can provide. At Human Interest, our mission is to ensure that people in all lines of work have access to a dignified retirement. And that's very important. Whether you're a laborer, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a VP, it doesn't matter what your title is or what job function you perform. If you have access to a 401k, then there's a vehicle for you to make contributions and contribute to your own retirement. Because as we stated before, pensions have disappeared and the Social Security system is broken. So, if Social Security is still around when you and I go to retire, it's certainly not going to look like it did for our parents.
Right. Right. And that says a lot because my mother, and I use her as an example, her her social security, and she doesn't get disability. And I'm like, Mom, you should fight for disability. I mean, come on. But just her social security alone is like almost $700, like 680 something dollars. I don't know exact numbers, but I don't see how anyone, no matter how conservative you are, survive off less than $700 a month.
Right.
I don't see that. So I would say that this product of 401k, this product of pre-tax, post-tax, IRA, IRA, Roth, all these terminologies. I think that as a small business, we should look at it more, because I see a big push for small business nowadays. A lot of people are pushing for independence, firing their boss. You have, and this is a question that I wanted to ask. Um, these young kids nowadays, I'm 43, I was born in 79. Okay.
Okay.
These kids nowadays in their 20s and early 30s, they're not making traditional money, right? You don't see a big push to go work at McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King, right? You see a lot of YouTubers, you see a lot of TikTokers, Facebookers, and all these other social media outlets that are paying these kids a lot of money.
Right.
So the diagram, right, of what work looks like is completely different. Even playing outside is non-existent. After school programs are non-existent. I'm saying all that to say, how can these young people making all this money contribute to something like this for their benefit? What's the first step that they should do when it comes time to securing their retirement?
I think the first step that they need to take is to set up either a sole proprietorship, set up an LLC, set up an S corp. They need to create a business account for themselves. Once they have a legitimate business and an EIN number, then they can set up a 401k benefit where they can divert some of that money that they're earning through followings, views, the TikTokers, the Facebookers, all everything you named, Instagrammers, whatever money they're generating, they can send a portion of that to their retirement for down the line when they're no longer doing that.
You heard that. You heard that. So when you get that $5,000 check from Instagram and you get that money from Facebook and TikTok, the first thing you should do is pay yourself. Is pay yourself. So for all my youngins out there, all these vibrant, high energy, attractive people out there who are finding creative ways to make money, what the rich do is pay themselves first, right? You pay yourself first, get it out the way because you want to keep yourself in the position of being able to help, right? You don't want to get money and then spend it on luxury things or helping your people out, right? And spend money and not invest in yourself. Hey, listen, if you're going to invest in all this equipment to do the TikToks and the Facebooks and the Instagram, if you're going to, invest all that money in that, you can take 6% and pay yourself. You can take 10%, right? When you do start to see income from what you're creating, Pay yourself first. Get it out the way. You're not going to miss it if you don't have it. And in 30 years, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, you're going to thank yourself. So, Tom, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I'm going to be posting your information. Don't be surprised if you get a phone call or an email. Is there anything that you would want to share with the public about human interest, about yourself, and about the products that you guys offer?
Yes, I think that one of the biggest things that human interest has going for it is we help small business owners establish a retirement benefit for themselves and their employees, and we eliminate or reduce to the nth degree the liability that they would typically face whenever they're setting up a retirement benefit. We are a one-stop shop solution for the 401k benefit. We handle all of the administrative function. We handle all of the compliance testing that's involved. Um, I mentioned our mission. Our vision is also to solve the retirement crisis so that everyone can achieve financial independence. That's what our goal is as a company. You talked about setting aside that 6%, that 10%, paying yourself first. You're paying yourself not today, but for in the future. You're looking down the line at a 10, 20, 30, 50-year horizon to when you are done working and you have a nest egg that you can rely on. Human interest, I mentioned before, we have all of these payroll integration partners that we work with on the back end to eliminate the administrative function that's required by a business. We also have a zero transaction fee policy. When you set up a 401k plan through most providers, you're going to see a fee schedule that might be 40 or 70 pages long. Ours is very short and very simple, and we publish everything on our website. So if somebody out there who's listening is interested in the 401k benefit, they can contact me. My cell phone number is 412 779 2588. My email address is tom.barnett@humaninterest.com. And feel free to visit our website, humaninterest.com. There's a lot of information that's published there, and we are very transparent with everything that we do. Our pricing is listed right on our website, and that's not common in the industry.
Mm. Hey, Tom, listen, I'm so excited, right? I'm excited to get this information out because I see so many young people making so much money and they don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
They don't know what to do with it because they're not thinking 2, 3 moves ahead, 10, 20, 30 years ahead, right? And I think information so subtle like this, hey, listen, throw 6% away. You're making money on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. That's great. You're making a lot of money. But throw 6%, throw 10%, in this account, forget about it. And do it every time that they cut you a check, cut yourself a check. So, Tom, listen, thank you so much for your time. This was a plethora of information. I'm going to be posting your information again. And thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. I really, really, really appreciate it. This is some great stuff. Next week, we're going to be talking to Coach B. I know you have a heart for basketball, so this is going to be a topic for the community, not necessarily the business and bid aspect, because I definitely want to get the community involved. Once the community, and this is how I feel. This is my exit statement. once I once I feel that, I'm sorry, not even once I feel. I feel that the more interactive that the youth get when it comes to creating, and once they get involved with learning how money works, something like this, they're going to jump all over. So, Tom, I thank you. Thank you for your time. And guys, be on the lookout. Business and Bid next week. Have a great one.
Greg, thanks so much for having me on Business and Bid. I was happy to be a part of it.
Not a problem, my friend. Until next time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.